Welcome everybody. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary here at NorCal Produce. I want to thank Dan and Linda. Mom and Dad, I really appreciate everything you've done for us. For one, I wouldn't be here without the two of you. And to think that 40 years ago, you both had this vision and this dream. And because of your hard work and dedication early on and still today, think of all the people you're supporting right here, right now. It's a little scary, I know, but understand we're here to celebrate 40 years of NorCal Produce, providing the highest quality produce because of you, your vision, your dedication, your hard work, and that's why we're here. We're here to celebrate the two of you. So thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. I love you guys, and let's have a great day.
Congratulations on 40 years. It's taken a lot of hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, tears, to get to this point. And 40 years is, it's a long time. I've been around 42 years, so I know how long 40 years is. And, it's quite an accomplishment. And the reason we're still leading the industry and continuing to grow every day is because for 40 years we have been backing up what we say every day and never compromising who we are or what we're all about. And that stands to both Dan and Linda, Mom and Dad, for what they've instilled in myself and Todd.
I think NorCal's lasted 40 years because of the dedication, the passion that is brought both on the produce side from my dad and then the accounting side from my mom. I mean, there's not many people out there that believe that that extra penny is really worth searching for. And my mom would spend $20 to find a penny, and that's why our book's always balanced. And my dad would, I guess, not be so nice to certain people so that he could get what he wanted on the buying side, and together they made an amazing team.
Wow. Celebrating 40 years, the time that I've been in this business, I've seen just a tremendous amount of change. You sit back and think about it sometimes and you think, yeah, I remember when they brought out sliced mushrooms in, and I was making jokes about it because people, I go, what, they can't even slice their own mushrooms? And that was just the beginning of it all.
The company's changed a lot. When we started, I was the old man running the company, Dan Senior, which I call an old man because, I've been here for so long.
I've been here 30 years, so we're gonna go way back. And well, when I first started, there was only 3 of us. The warehouse was real small. We only had 2 little bobtails. Well, we started on 5th Street, the old Market Club. And then from there, we went to another warehouse here in West Sac. And actually, we outgrew that one, so we bought the lot right across the street and build a bigger warehouse. And when we outgrow that, we're here now. So you can take it from what we had back then to what we have now, and that's a big difference.
I've known Danny since, and Linda and their family, I believe 1982 or 83, and I was running a competing business with Dan. Named the company as Triangle Produce, and our stall on the 5th Street Market was right next to NorCal's.
Had the proud privilege of a great partnership with NorCal Produce for over the last 20 years, and it's really been the biggest defining partnership that the nugget market's ever had, and I say that from the bottom of my heart, and absolutely it is the truth, and what separates nugget markets more than anything else from the competition. And 20 plus years ago, we were with United Independence, and Dan called up my father Gene, and he said, let's go have lunch at a Club Pheasant. And Dad and I went and met Dan Sr. at the club, and as always, had some fried raviolis and a little steak sandwich, and reminisced a bit about days gone by and Freddie Pompey and the back docks. But Dan shared his vision of what he could do for us, and within that day, Dan had us hooked at hello, and we knew what he stood for, and that was quality.
20 years I've had the pleasure of working with Goose. I remember the first time I met him and just seeing his passion and his commitment and his enthusiasm, and it was just a great meeting. I mean, he wasn't even into full line produce at that time. He had his certain items that he carried. And it's amazing where you start with somebody and where you end up taking it. We started with strawberries. That's where this whole relationship started with strawberries. And we had this strawberry ad, and that was Dan's way to get in the door with Nugget Market and Nugget Market's way to partner with NorCal Produce. From there, we went to corn. So it started with strawberries and corn. I used to call Dan a gunny sacker back then because all we did with him was strawberries and corn. And then it just evolved into full line product.
When I started doing business with NorCal Produce in 1983, NorCal Produce, and Dan in particular, had set a standard for quality in our industry, and seldom, if ever, did Danny ever compromise on the quality that he bought. So he always partnered with us from a distance, if you will, to help promote our business, to grow our business, because we knew that we'd always get good quality from NorCal Produce. The bar that he set for his own buyers, and to never compromise, always bringing the best produce that was available during any particular season, whether it be the Mexico season or the California local season. But it made my job easier in growing my company, knowing that we'd always get the best quality produce that was available.
Well, when I was working with Dan, I had to make sure I was on my best behavior and on my toes.
My experience with Dan, that's a story in itself. I work nights, and I deal with Dan from when he gets here early morning till I go home. And if something doesn't go the right way that it's supposed to, it gets kind of hectic. It's funny in a way, because when you bring it back to him, he says, "No, I'm not like that."
There were days working with Dan was really rough. Perfectionist. And it wasn't, okay, we'll get it done tomorrow. It's got to be done now.
It was quite crazy, to be honest with you. Nothing, I can't say that I could. He made me better. I will say that. He made the job very difficult. I will say that. He's a perfectionist. He always wanted everything to be perfect all the time, which in this business is kind of unheard of, but we did our best.
He comes in and bugs me about my drinking from time to time. He calls them bad ice cubes. Did you have some of those last night, Barbara? But other than that, that's pretty much our interactions. We talk about liquor. Yeah, which is great. I totally know a lot about it, and so does he.
It's been something real nice to work with Dan, because Linda is totally different than Dan. Dan is more what is it? His temper is really, he can lose the temper real easy. And but the same token, he's a straight up shooter. He tells you straight up where you stand, what you are, where you stand with him, what is expected of you. And I always believe that that's the person you work for, because you know where you stand right there. And Linda is that kind of lady who doesn't say too much, but you know what I mean. When he says something, you better pay attention to what you say, because she is just like that. She doesn't scream, she doesn't say nothing, but she tells you in the nicest way, this is what had to be done, this is the way it's going to, and that's it. You know what I mean? And that's the experience I got with them.
Celebrating 40 years in business for me is stability, I think for our partners, that's the same thing. They know that they can count on us, that we're going to be here. And it's something to build on, and it's something that lasts. It's a great quality. You know, it goes to what Dan Sr. and Linda stand for, just, you know, that they have built this amazing brand that just, you know, it's just something amazing. I mean, Dan stands for quality, and that's what NorCal stands for, and for 40 years, they've just continued to grow on that.
They're a real nice person, got a lot of heart, a lot of heart. You got, like I said, you know, they're there for you when you need them. And they're never gonna change that. And people they don't know what they're missing.
Funny memories. When he first called me out to arm wrestle him, as you can see, I'm kind of working out now, so I'm still working on my strength, so maybe within the 5-6 more months, I'll have the strength to beat him, because he keeps on beating me every time I arm wrestle him. It's not that I let him, it's that he's strong for his age, so I respect that.
My name is Marty Hawk, M-A-R-T-Y, H-O-C-K, a.k.a. Dick Velour. It goes back probably longer than 40 years. Actually, my parents had a store on West Capitol Avenue in West Sacramento, and I believe Dan grew up as a young boy in Broderick Bright area out in there. And Dan used to shoplift at my parents' store. So that was probably close to 50 years ago. So I met Dan, DA Dan Achondo. He had the DA at the time, the hairdo in the back of the DA. He used to drive up West Capitol Avenue to Kelly Jr.'s Burgers, then come back to my parents' gift store, record store, and market and pilfer from us. So that's how I first met Dan.
Out in the warehouse, if he comes walking around, you'll hear people say, "Shark in the water." So that means Dan's on his way out.
Well, I won't play tic-tac-toe with Dan Sr. Because he cheats. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he always had jokes or two to tell everybody. I mean, that was always good. He always had a joke to come and spread. You know, they weren't all that funny sometimes, but we all laughed, so.
Probably some of my favorite stories with Senior are the times when he invited the produce team up to go to Tahoe for the weekend. So, you know, I get to go to Tahoe for the weekend. We're all single guys and ready to go to Tahoe. This is back when Sharky was there and Brad was feisty and young, and, you know, all of us were ready to rip it up in Tahoe. And, you know, I tell the wife I'm going to be gone, you know, for the weekend. So we got there, and it was Friday night, and somebody dropped a Cheeto on the floor, and before you know it, Senior had the vacuum out, and he's vacuuming. I mean, it was officially, he was setting the standard for you don't drop a Cheeto in my house. And so he realized that there was going to be a lot of Cheeto dropping going on, so he got us out of the house. And we went out that night, got home late, but he took the broom and he was hitting the ceilings and hitting the floors to say it's time to get up and get going the next morning. We're like, what is this, you know? Strip the beds. I mean, is this really a weekend in Tahoe? And before I know it, we realize we're having breakfast at the diner, and then he says, hey, it's been a great weekend. Great job. I mean, it was the best 8.5 hours I have ever had. And Senior, I don't know how I could ever repay you. That was amazing. I got home at like 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I thought you were going to Tahoe for the weekend. So a few years later, I thought, how could I repay him? So he invited Eric and I up to Tahoe. And we went out, and this is back when Senior used to have a few pops. And we went out, and we were all feeling a little feisty that day. And we thought to ourselves, what would be better than if, you know, you get home, you know you're going to be tired, you know you're going to be burning that night. We'd all got up early that Friday. And what would be better than when he goes to crawl into the rack and get underneath his covers if we had soaked a bunch of towels and just made his whole entire bed wet. And it sounded so good, and it was so funny. And if anybody that's ever seen Senior mad, I can only imagine, because he kept his game face on. He just says, okay, Carpenter. But that to me was a great payback for the great 8-hour weekend getaway with the produce team.
Some of the classic stories, one of the most classic ones that I was I only heard about was one night my dad wouldn't go to the bar with some of the guys, and so the next morning he came to the office and they'd got a soldering arm or whatever it was, and basically took down his metal stairs to his office. And one of his guys that worked with him, George, thought it was really funny, and there's a few people that knew George, and they can understand that would be pretty funny to do something like that to Senior. But one thing I've learned is you don't piss Senior off, because he will win. So what he did is he went next door to the restaurant and worked with those guys there, and he put got a really hot sauce and put in the guy's coffee. And then he also smoked a pipe every day, George did. So he put gunpowder in the pipe. So when he went to light his pipe, the gunpowder went off, blew up in his face. So in order to kind of calm his mouth down, he drank the coffee that was spiked with the hot sauce. So they never took his stairs down again, is the moral of that story. So I've learned never to screw with him, and because he's just not, he doesn't play well with others.
The number one thing that I've learned from my dad is patience.
Dan will call me 10 times. If I don't respond within 30 seconds of the call, he'll call me again and again. And if it takes me 2 minutes to get to the phone, it's 4 calls by the time I get to the phone. Like he expects me to be hooked to the phone or something.
So he's pretty patient.
Yeah, very patient.
I think that he's called me 10 consecutive times after he's left me a message. And then when I called him back 20 minutes later, he says, "Where have you been?" And I said, "I have been playing soccer on the field for the last hour." So that's why I didn't get your 7 and 10 calls. Also, I can remember one time hanging up on him first, and he called back and said, "Why'd you hang up on me?" I said, "'Cause you hang up on me all the time, and you don't like it." And I think he hung up on me. "40 years is a long time to do anything, and to do it good for 40 years, it's something special. And I think we should all be very proud of what we've accomplished, what Dan and Linda have started."
Oh, wow, you want me to do one of these like this? Happy Dan, look, no, he wasn't supposed to get that. That was just joking there now. Give me, rewind that camera.
NorCal, 40 years.
¡Feliz aniversario los 40 años de la NorCal!
40 years in business, NorCal Produce, way to go! Congratulations, NorCal, on 40 years.
Congratulations, NorCal, on 40 great years.
Congratulations on 40 wonderful years! Woohoo! Go NorCal!
Go, 40 years! NorCal, 40 years. Congratulations.
Way to go, NorCal, 40 great years.
Congratulations, 40 years. Go NorCal.
Congratulations, NorCal, on 40 years and 40 more to go.
Congratulations on 40 years, NorCal Produce.
Congratulations, NorCal, on 40 years.
NorCal, 40 years, there we go. Congratulations, NorCal.
40 years, woohoo! Yeah!
NorCal, 40 years, way to go!
Hi, Dan and Linda. I thought it was only fitting that I talk to you both from my reclining chair with my cup of coffee. Dan accuses me of calling him every morning from this chair, so I thought it was only right that I offer you congratulations on your 40 years in the business. I've learned a lot over the years from Dan. Several of the things that I've learned, first of all, is don't ask him where something is grown, because what you're going to get is strawberries grow on strawberry plants and peaches grow on peach trees. Things like that. Other things that I've learned from him is that you never throw a 7 when he parlays a hard 8 in the crap table. And the last thing that I've learned from Dan is that nothing, and absolutely nothing, is as spectacular as Dan's legs when he's wearing his shorts. So I just want to wish you both more years of success. Thank you for making NorCal Produce what it is. It's a quality organization. you take care of your customers. I think the thing that I admire most is the passion that you and everybody in your organization brings to NorCal Produce and their customers and team members. And it's just a first-class organization, and it starts at the top with Dan and Linda. So thank you. I appreciate everything that you've done over the years, and congratulations on your 40th anniversary. Thank you. Good luck.
Good afternoon, everybody from NorCal. Kudos to Dan and Linda. You have done a marvelous job putting together a company that is just second to none. And we are very, very proud to be a part of it, to be a vendor that we feel we are working with the best company you could possibly work with. I just want to say thank you and wish you nothing but good luck with the new generation coming in. It will be a win-win situation for everybody. And again, thank you so much for the friendship, the professional friendship, the relationship. It's appreciated beyond belief. From International Citrus and Produce, all here wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you.
Hello everyone at NorCal. I just want to say congratulations on your 40th. Holly, my friend back here, and I just acknowledge the commitment and the long-term follow-through with tenacity that brought quality that is matched by no one else. I really had my personal success at Unified and at United Grocers when I hitched my wagon to NorCal. I went out to my customers who trusted me, gave them high expectations for what NorCal would deliver, and those expectations were exceeded and continue today to be exceeded. Look forward to the 50th, and thank you again for everything that you've done for me. Congratulations to everybody at NorCal.
Happy 40th anniversary of NorCal Produce, Mom and Dad. It's amazing what hard work and dedication can result in. Congratulations.
Happy 40th.
NorCal Produce.
Hi, my name is Mike Sy, and I'm the president of Mount Tam Fresh. We have been doing business with NorCal Produce for the entire 4.5 years we've been in business, and I've personally been doing business with NorCal Produce for the past 20 years. I remember I received a phone call from Dan Achondo Sr. when he took over the United Independence accounts, and he was looking for an apple distributor. Dan was very clear on what he wanted, and number one, what he wanted was the best. Quality was always paramount to Dan and Dan's operation. Yes, price and timely deliveries and other logistics were important, but Dan always focused on the quality he was going to deliver to his accounts. I personally learned a lot from Dan with accountability and how to be a good produce man, and I've always appreciated the lessons he's taught me. Sometimes they've been hard lessons, but I've always appreciated it, and he definitely made me a better produce man. I want to congratulate, and all of us here at Mount Tam Fresh want to congratulate NorCal Produce on 40 years being in the business. So congratulations to Dan, to Linda, to Todd, and to Dan Jr., and all the employees of NorCal Produce for 40 years in the produce business. Congratulations, well done.
This is David Ratto from Ratto Brothers. We would like to wish the Achondo family congratulations for their 40th year of business. The Ratto Brothers have appreciated all the years that we've done business, and we'd like to continue that. We consider you a very valuable customer, and here's a little role playing of what Dan Achondo used to call the Ratto Brothers. And this was when Pop pretty well handed the account over to myself. I would put my hard hat on, pick up the phone, Mr. Achondo, yes sir, no sir, and we used to have a special kind of language in the produce industry which I cannot repeat, but Dan Achondo was very good at it. But my dad said you always take whatever Dan Achondo gives you, because he would always send a check every single 2 weeks until you could ever replace that customer, which I won't go there, but hey, we will certainly be doing business with the Achondo family. You make us better as a company for many, many years, and then we'll see Mr. and Mrs. Achondo and Todd and Dan at the Lake Tahoe Invitational. Can't wait to see everybody. Congratulations again.
Take 94.
Dan,
It's hard to believe that you have now celebrated your 40th anniversary. I still think back to the days when Frank Quintella called and asked if I would buy produce for you, and how you've grown, we've grown, and now the time's gone by, and you've got your two sons running the business. My two sons own my business, and which is their business now, and I congratulate you and wish you nothing but the best.
I want to talk to you about Dan's nickname. Now, I know that I can hear all of you out there because most of you know how he got his name because you've had your experiences. And I know I'm not speaking for the thousands of you out there. I'm just going to share my personal experience at how Dan got his nickname, Click. When I was buying produce, Dan would call me and need an order. So he would say, how many artichokes you want? And I'd tell him, say, how many Brussels sprouts you want? And I'd tell him, he'd go right down the item list. And I'd say, hey Dan, I hear weather's coming in. Is the market going to be changing coming up here? Is the market going to be changing? Dan, I must have got disconnected. So I'm thinking he's going to call me back. Nothing. Next day, he calls. How many artichokes you want? I tell him how many Brussels sprouts. I tell him how many Brussels sprouts. Down the item list. Hey Dan, I hear weather's coming in the Salinas area. Is the market going to jump on this or what? Dan! Now I know he hung up on me. So listen, a fireplace may fall on my head, but not a brick at a time. So I'd say 25, 30 phone calls later, I come up with this plan. Hey, I'm going to ask the questions first before I give him an order. So he'd call, how many artichokes you want? Hey Dan, I hear weather's coming in the Salinas area. Weather's fine, how many artichokes you want? No, Dan, I hear the market may go up. Market ain't gonna go up, how many artichokes you want? I don't know, 4 pallets. How many Brussels sprouts you want? Well, isn't the weather gonna be affecting the Brussels sprouts? Same weather, how many Brussels sprouts you want? Anyway, everything sort of went fine thereafter. And of course the occasional hold on because he's got another phone that he needs to get. So, but anyway, things.
Well, I want to start off by being asked to come here today. It's quite an honor to celebrate NorCal's 40th year in the produce industry. Like my old friend Rodney once said, what a crowd, let me tell you. I'm just happy to be here. You know, I looked up the word achondo in my Basque dictionary at home. And it was funny. It said achondo, a lover of sheep. It never mentioned one word about produce. So how he came into the produce industry is still beside me. But seriously, to Dan and Linda, congratulations on your 40th anniversary of NorCal Produce. It's a fantastic milestone and continued success in the future. You hustled, you worked hard, you walked the streets, you partied hard, and you worked even harder. You were always intent on hitting it big. And through the archives, I looked up some of your times over in Asia, and this is how he used to walk the streets, serving our country in Korea and other Asian ports. It's time to raise our glass and toast Dan and Linda Achondo on 40 years of NorCal Produce. Oh Dan, your time has come. It's time to raise that 40th curtain. Dan, here's to you. You do your best, for that we're all certain. And to Linda, your lovely wife, we wish you health and happiness all the rest of your life. And to your family, so proud. Won't you all just stand up and applaud him out loud? I give to you Mr. Dan Achondo. He did it sideways. Thank you, Dick Velour.
What does Goose stand for, really? And, besides quality. He says he's ruthless, but I say it's passion. And he is one passionate mother on everything, whether it's his family, his loving wife, Linda, or this company. And that's what gets Dan up in the morning. That's what keeps him up all night, is passion for offering the best and being the best. And that's what makes NorCal what it is, and that's been the driving force behind NorCal over these last 40 years. And Goose, Junior, and Todd, congratulations for outstanding 40 years, and here's to another 40 years. Thanks, guys, for everything you do, man.
Yeah. Congratulations to 40 years. Job well done.
Just thanks for everything you've done for us. We're glad we're here. I want to thank them all the efforts to hold as employees and to support the employees in all the aspects.
Dan and Linda, congratulations on 40 great years, and here's to 40 great more.
I've been impressed with you. I'm glad and happy and proud to call you my friend and Linda my friend. And we've created relationships that has lasted since 1983. And I thank you for everything that you've done for my company, Rohr Brothers. And we would not be as successful as we are today if it weren't for the program that you have here at NorCal Produce. I can say that without any second thought, and I thank you for that.
I'd like to thank him for my opportunity to help build their company, and I like to think I was a part of it, and I hope to continue it.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around this video, I want to thank the 40-year anniversary of Team NorCal Produce. We're going great.
I would just like to say congratulations and thank you for my job. Thank you for all you've done for me over the years, and happy 40th. I hope there's 140 more to go. Thank you.
Congratulations, 40 years of just being the best company we can.
I just would like to say thank you for everything that they've done for me, all the support. And to Dan, I want to thank him personally for having trust and faith in me, for doing what I'm doing for him now and his company. It really means a lot to me that he would trust me enough to run his company for him. Thank you.
Well, congratulations for making it to 40 years. It's an amazing accomplishment, and I know that a lot of years of sweat and tears and hard work have gone into it, and thank you again for everything.
With just watching how my parents have done things and what basically my dad has stood for, which is quality, and I've heard it a lot from people that we've never compromised. We might be higher priced, but there's a reason, and we never compromise who we are or what we're about. We deliver every day, and the biggest thing for me is, this company was started 40 years ago with the purpose of wanting to have the best quality, and it's still the purpose today. The core values, although they weren't on the walls like they are today, it's the same core values that they started the company with, and it's never ever changed for 40 years. And when they say don't fix something unless it's broke, well, it's not broke, so all we can do is keep getting better. So
we are the leading produce company in the industry. We operate with the highest standards and are relentless in our pursuit to provide our partners the best quality produce, the best price possible. Our top priority is our business partners. Our greatest asset and key to our success are our team members.
In closing, I first want to thank all the team members for being a part of this, for some of our vendors that were part of this, for some of our partners that were a part of it. I really thank you for taking the time to celebrate our 40th anniversary, to celebrate the vision that Dan and Linda had 40 years ago. And Mom and Dad, thank you. Thank you for making this an amazing place to work. Thank you for being amazing parents. And thank you for giving us all the opportunity to be a part of the overall NorCal family. I love you guys, and let's do a 50th in 10 more years.
But I do have one more thing for you, Dan, that I would like to share with you. Dan?